Hello you lovely people and welcome to another video. Now about a year ago I made a budget challenge video that became quite popular here on my channel. I was trying to live on 15 euros a week. Inflation has been a big problem for years now, and I was wondering if after a whole year I would still be able to repeat the experiment. Could I still be cooking breakfast, lunch and dinner for 15 euros for a week? Well, let's find out together, shall we? For my shopping trip, I first went to Edeka because that supermarket has the most beautiful produce section and you can get everything in smaller quantities and also without packaging. So I made sure to grab some onions and garlic for flavor, some carrots, one leek, and also one red bell pepper, which was a bit pricier, but I needed it for a recipe. I also got 2 tomatoes, and to make sure that I stayed within my budget, I weighed everything on a scale there and calculated the price. The legume section was very small, but I found what I needed, which was half a kilo of dry white beans. Right above that was the rice, and I got 1 kilo of parboiled rice for 1.59. The passata was on sale for 1.29 a bottle, which was a nice surprise. And I also grabbed 1 can of corn for 99 cents. I'm not sure if that was a sales price, but I thought it was pretty decent. I also got some yeast for 69 cents and 1 kilo of flour for 59 cents. Afterwards, I went to Lidl because I was quite sure that Lidl had cheaper bell peppers. And yes, they had cheaper bell peppers, but there was only one left and it was a bit bruised, so I decided to put it back. The legume section was pretty small at Lidl. They only had chickpeas and lentils, so I was glad that I got my dry white beans at Edeka. But I got the vegan mayo that I came for, which was on sale for 99 cents. And since I totally forgot to get oat milk at Lidl, I had to go to Netto and I got 1 liter of oat milk there. And here, ladies and gentlemen, are all the groceries that we're going to work with this week. First of all, back here we have 1 bottle of passata for €1.29. That was on sale, pretty good deal. Then we have a kilogram of parboiled rice for €1.59. By the way, that is basically the standard price for the cheapest rice here in the supermarkets. The passata usually costs about €1.59, so it was 30 cents cheaper. It's not a lot, but if you're on a budget, everything counts. Then we have a kilo of flour for 59 cents, and it was on sale, and I thought it was a pretty good deal, but then I realized that they had lowered the prices in all of the supermarkets, so now it's just 59 cents for the kilo of flour everywhere. Anyways, here we have our source of protein for the week. 500 grams of dry white beans for €2.29. Now, I tried to find a supermarket where I could get it cheaper, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I was at Lidl later as well. They don't even have dry white beans. Netto as well did not. So I was at 3 supermarkets, and the Edeka was actually the only one that had these dry white beans. Possibly Aldi has them, but I didn't want to go to a 4th supermarket, so I took these ones, and I think it's fine. So 500 grams of dry white beans. Then we have 1 can of corn for 99 cents and 2 sachets of yeast for 69 cents. And then we already get to the veggies. We have 5 carrots for around €1.20. We have 4 onions for around 90 cents. We have a leek for about 45 cents. We have some garlic for around 60 cents. 2 tomatoes also around 60 cents. And I think, sorry, and the bell pepper. That was a splurge. This 1 bell pepper cost me €1.70. But you know, it is winter. It's not the time for bell peppers. So that's just the price you have to pay, but I really, really wanted it, and it was within the budget, so I don't mind. Everything from Edeka came to €12.92. Then I was also at Lidl to get that vegan mayo. It was on sale for 99 cents. So I definitely wanted to get that. I need it for a recipe. I also was at Netto because I forgot to get some oat milk, and this liter of oat milk cost me €1.05. What I did not buy today is that celery because I bought that last week at Lidl when it was on sale. It cost 99 cents back then, and you can see that I already used some of it, but I figured I need it for the recipes today and I will use it up. It cost 99 cents, so I have probably used up about 50 cents worth of celery, so I have 50 cents of celery worth left here. Okay, so let's see. That was €12.92, around 13 euros. Then €1 for the mayo, €1 for the oat milk, makes 15 euros. And then about 50 cents for the celery. So all of this here cost us around 15 euros and 50 cents. I would say that is not bad. Not bad at all. And as I said, I'm really pleased that we have so many veggies. Beautiful. One of the breakfast options for this week will be rice pudding. We have all of that rice, and I know it's not the typical short grain pudding rice that you would use for rice pudding, but we're on a budget, so we will make do with what we have. I found a recipe where you only need rice and milk or oat milk and a little bit of butter or vegan butter. What we will do first is we're going to take a big pot and then add the vegan butter and let it melt. We will add 250 grams of the rice, which is about a cup of rice, and then we will let that saute in the butter for a little bit. We will add the oat milk, the whole liter of it, and let that come to a boil, and then we will reduce it to a simmer and we will let that simmer for 30 minutes. I found a packet of vanilla sugar in my pantry that I will add as well. You don't really have to do that, but if you have it lying around, add it. And obviously we will have to check it and stir it a few times, but after 30 minutes it should be done. We will see if the parboiled rice works just like the other rice, or if maybe we will have to give it a few more minutes. I don't know, but we will see. And when it's finished, you can serve it up with some cinnamon sugar or some marmalade or some compote, whatever you have in your pantry or in your fridge. If you don't have anything, you can just eat it like it is. And this is the rice pudding after 30 minutes. As you can see, the rice soaked up most of the milk. Actually, I might say all of the milk. I added a pinch of salt, and here I plated up one bowl for me and added cinnamon sugar and a little bit more vegan butter. I would say, now this is one serving for me. I would never eat more than that for breakfast. And there are, I would say probably 3 or 4 more servings in here. The recipe says it's 4 servings, but I think they're pretty generous. So depending on how much you eat for breakfast, this could be 5-ish servings, I guess. Then for the rest of the week for breakfast, I will just eat a bit of bread. You know me, coffee and a piece of bread, and that's it for breakfast. But this could theoretically, if you portion it out in smaller servings, could be breakfast for the whole week. First things first, we're gonna make some bread because I am German and I can't live without bread. It's just a fact. It's in our DNA. We will use the Thermomix for making the bread, although you can totally make bread without a Thermomix, but it makes it easier. We need 500 grams of flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, some yeast. Here we go. Here's the yeast. In it goes. Next step is 20 grams of olive oil. Now I will use vegan butter because I have it, and I just pop that in the microwave for 10-15 seconds so it melted a bit. 320 grams of water, lukewarm. It is lukewarm. Now that just says to put on the lid. Lid is on. And now we just have to turn the button. It kneads the dough for 3 minutes. This is what the dough looks like after 3 minutes. And now we will just put it into the bread pan and then we will let it rise for 30 to 40 minutes. This is our dough after 40 minutes of resting, and I cut it here as you see, and I just brushed it with a little bit of water for a nicer crust. And now it goes into the oven at 200 degrees Celsius, which is around 400 degrees Fahrenheit, for just 20 minutes. This is the bread fresh out of the oven after 20 minutes. It's gorgeous. It has a really nice crust. And now we're just gonna let it cool and then we'll enjoy it. The only kind of prep work we're gonna have to do for tonight is to soak the beans. This is the whole bag of beans in the bowl here, 500 grams, which means it's a little bit more than a pound. I had a quick look through them to make sure there were no rotten ones. And now we're gonna cover this with cold water and let it soak overnight. Good night, beans. See you tomorrow. This is what the beans look like after soaking overnight. I just poured away the water and that's what we're working with. I don't know if you can tell, but they plumped up nicely. I have here, just for you, the comparison between a dry and a soaked bean. So they have at least twice, maybe even 3 times the size. And now we're gonna cook them for about an hour in plain water. The first meal we're gonna cook is Greek beans. And before I say anything else, if you hear somebody coughing or sniffing in the background, it's Toby. The poor guy has a really bad cold, so please just ignore that for the time being. So Greek beans are something that I've wanted to try for a long time, and I looked up some recipes online, and there are a lot of different ones. They agree on the fact that you need white cooked beans and you need veggies and you need olive oil, but that's about it. The veggies can be very different. The amount of olive oil can be different. So I just combine a few different videos that I've read online. Okay? So first thing, we have the white beans, 500 grams of cooked white beans. What the recipes say is that, well, different amount of veggies, as I said. We will take 2 stalks of celery. We will take 2 carrots, 2 onions, and a few cloves of garlic, and a little bit of parsley that is still growing on my balcony. We will wash the veggies and peel them as far as we need to, and then we will all put them in the Thermomix and chop them up in pretty fine pieces, I'd say. Then what we do is we just mix the beans and all of the veggies and some olive oil and some passata in a big oven-safe dish. We add some salt and pepper and a little bit of sugar, and then we bake it in the oven. Now, you have to bake them for quite a long time because the beans need to soak up all the liquid, the olive oil and the passata, and that apparently makes the good taste. So first we will put it in the oven for 45 minutes, and then the recipe says to put on some breadcrumbs and then bake it for another 30 minutes. So we'll just keep an eye on them, and we'll make sure that they don't burn. Guys, I know this might not be the original recipe, but I can tell you it already smells delicious. I'm really excited about this. I wish you could smell this. This smells amazing. The beans were in the oven for 45 minutes. As I said, I put on some breadcrumbs and another 30 minutes in the oven. And now most of the liquid has gone. And I plated up 1 serving for me. You can see there are another 5 servings in here. And I decided to eat the beans with the bread. Since it's also fresh out of the oven and amazing, I decided this is the best way for me now. But you could also serve that with the rice. We have so much rice, and I thought about cooking some up. Would be just as good, I'm sure. But today I'm going to eat it with the bread, and then maybe tomorrow with the rice. We'll see. And now I had a bite, and it tastes just as amazing as it smells. Guys, try this at home. 10 out of 10 would recommend. The second meal we will cook is a minestrone soup, which is a typical Italian dish. And just like with the Greek beans, there are a lot of different recipes out there, all slightly different. But what they all seem to agree on is that you need a lot of veggies for the soup, and then also white beans and a carb of some kind. It could be either pasta or rice, depending on the region where the recipe is from. Now, we have a leek and some carrots and some celery, an onion and some garlic. And I did see that most recipes ask for tomatoes, but I forgot to buy more tomatoes, so I will add a little bit of tomato paste. I have tomato paste at home at all times, so this is a staple for me in the pantry, and that is why I don't feel bad for adding some of it. So what we're going to do is first we will peel and chop up the onions and the garlic and then saute that in a big pot. We will add some of the tomato paste and let that brown a bit. Then we will add 1.5 liters of veggie broth. We will let that boil, and then we will add all of the other veggies chopped up. First, probably the carrots, because they need the most time to cook, and then the celery and the leek. And at the end, we will just add the beans, and I'm not sure how much rice, probably half a cup to a cup of rice. I don't know exactly, so we will probably wing it and see how it goes. And here, ladies and gentlemen, we have the finished product. I added about 250 grams of rice to the soup, and now you can see it's a bit more like a stew. 250 grams is about a cup, in case you were wondering. And I plated up one bowl for me, but you can see there are at least, I'd say, 4 to 5 more servings here in this pot. Yes, I think this recipe makes around 6 servings, definitely. Gesundheit. I also added salt and pepper to taste and sugar, because obviously I forgot to add the tomato paste in the beginning, so I had to add it later, but it's fine, it tastes really good. But to cut through the acidity of the tomato paste, you need a bit of sugar. Keep that in mind. And now it's finished. It really didn't take that long. I just wanted to make sure that all the veggies were cooked through and the rice as well, so I tried that, and it's really, really good. Ladies and gentlemen, what an easy recipe. It makes a lot, it's healthy. You have protein from the beans, you have vitamins from the veggies, you have carbs from the rice. This is an amazing recipe. It makes so much, it's really cheap. Go make this, guys. Go make this. Oh, by the way, you could add obviously a little bit of cheese if you want as a topping, or also a bit of pesto if you have it. I think that would give it a nice kick. But as it is, it's extremely good. So you don't need to add anything else, but you could if you wanted to. And now I'm gonna enjoy the soup. And I'll serve some to Toby because he's still sick and he needs a bit of soup. And meal number 3 for this week will be a Mexican-inspired rice salad. I already cooked up 200 grams of the rice according to the package instructions, and then I cut up most of the remaining veggies. The bell pepper, the red onion, the carrot, and the 2 tomatoes. Now, there is also the can of corn that goes into this as well. And then back here, I prepared what will be the sauce. Now, at the bottom there is 150 grams of mayonnaise. Then we have 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, about a tablespoon of sambal oelek, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a little bit of sugar, and a pinch of, can you say a pinch? Well, a little bit of lemon juice, definitely. And now we will just mix that all up and then put it all to the rice, and that is the rice salad. Easy as that. Now, in case you're wondering where the remaining beans are. So where are the beans? Well, let me just tell you that I'm an idiot. I did not refrigerate them properly. My fridge was extremely full, and I had that last bowl of beans outside on the counter for 2 days. And while they do not smell bad or anything, I'm not sure I should use them in the salad. Now, in case I was cooking something where I would heat the beans through, like bake them in the oven with the Greek beans, or like in a soup with the minestrone, I think I wouldn't care. But the salad is a cold meal, and that is why I will not use them anymore. It's sad. I'm so angry at myself for wasting food unnecessarily, but I prefer not using the beans and not getting sick from it than using them just for the sake of not wasting food and then, getting sick. It's not worth it. So I don't have any other beans to compensate for the loss of these beans. I don't have any kidney beans in my pantry at the moment, so I will just leave them out. I could get some tomorrow. It's Sunday today, so I can't go shopping. Maybe I'll buy some tomorrow and add them to the salad for that extra little bit of protein, but at the moment there are no beans in the salad. It's sad, but that's how it is. If you ever make this recipe, just be a little bit smarter than me and just put the beans in the fridge where they belong, and you'll be fine. And here is the salad all mixed through. I already plated up 1 serving. The recipe says it's 4 servings. I think it might be more. I don't know. Am I just a person who doesn't eat that much per serving? I don't know, but it feels like this is more. I think could be 5 or 6 servings, depending on how much you eat, but the recipe says 4, so we're gonna go with 4. And look at these gorgeous colors. So many veggies, and with the rice, it's very filling. I already made this before, so I know it's delicious. And what you want to do is, once you have added the sauce, make sure to add also salt and pepper to taste. And then it's perfect. Keeps in the fridge very well. And I will definitely put it in the fridge and not leave it on the counter. All right, that is it. I'm going to enjoy this salad now, and I'll see you later. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of this video. I have to admit, this was my favorite budget challenge video ever on this channel. The recipes were cheap, easy, delicious, healthy. What a combination. And honestly, I can't wait to make another one. In case you want to see another budget challenge video, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video at all, please consider giving me one of these, or maybe commenting or subscribing to my channel. I would personally appreciate it very, very much. Thank you again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.